Sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given. The motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation on the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Regulations 2025 may be moved today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, motion ably moved. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded. This is a procedural motion. The question, therefore, is as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Honourable members, motion numbered 12. Chairman of the committee, you may now move motion number 12.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts a report on the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation on the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Regulations 2025. Mr. Speaker, I present the committee's report and ask that the Hansa Department captures the entire report as having been read. Mr. Speaker, the background to these regulations, that's the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Regulations 2025, is being enacted to support the effective implementation of the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Act 2020, Act 1015, together with the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, and the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners Act 2024. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this LI is fundamentally to establish clear thresholds for determining a company's inability to pay its debt or fulfill other financial obligations, Mr. Speaker. It also sets out the procedures for convening a meeting of creditors and a watershed meeting. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, it outlines the purposes for the appointment, removal, resignation, and replacement of insolvency practitioners, prescribes the necessary reporting mechanisms, and addresses any additional matters required to ensure the effective implementation of the provisions of this Act. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7 deals with the pre-laying considerations of this instrument, and the committee concluded that in the light of the aforementioned, it was satisfied that the instrument meets the legal requirements as specified in the relevant laws, and accordingly recommends to the House to adopt its report for the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Regulations 2025 to come into force in accordance with Article 11.7 of the 1992 Constitution. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Motion move, report presented. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to the report before the House. Mr. Speaker, I will urge the committee members, especially the chair.
Candidate second the motion, then you can contribute to the
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Very well.
By so doing, I want to contribute to the
That is so.
report. Mr. Speaker, I just want to admonish the chair of the committee and the committee members to go beyond presenting of this report to the House and find time to educate the public. Because we can't just pass the law and leave the law in the shelves and people may not take advantage of the law. We all know what happened in the financial sector. People will go and invest in the institutions. They don't even know that they are winding up. They don't even know that they have liquidity issues. If they know and there's education, the companies themselves will file for insolvency. So when they file for liquidation, people will get their investment back. But they don't know, they will sit there and there's a run on the institutions. By the end of the day, all their investments will go waste. So we can't just pass the law and leave the law to just remain in the shelves. let's also do education. Let's help our people. Though the executive is there to do the implementation.
Deputy Whip, I understand that there is the need to educate the general public on the laws passed. But is it the responsibility of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee to do?
Mr. Speaker,
because you are urging the chairman and the committee to do that.
The responsibility rests on all of us, but they can take the lead so that we will help them execute that project. Because people will ask you, who passed the law? We passed the law. And they will tell you, we don't know the existence of the law that you passed. So, you can't say ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Let's help our people. That's what we have voted for. We are here representing the people. Let's give them the right information so that they will benefit from the work we do here. But you pass the law, and we are not giving true meaning to the law. By the end of the day, what have we done to ourselves? So let's also help the people, because number one issue that happened, if he himself knew and the company was registered, he will file for liquidation and insolvency, and people get their investment. Now, thousands of people have died because of irresponsibility on the part of management. Yes. Capital Bank and the rest. Because people don't know that if they put in the application, there will be some mitigating effect on them. If you travel outside the country, this is what people do. They change names of companies, file for liquidation and insolvency, and they get people's investment for them. Let them take advantage over the law so that by the end of the day, they say, incoming. You are part of this ninth parliament that passed the law. that passed the law to safeguard our investment and our interests. Mr. Speaker, with these few remarks, I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Honorable members, the motion has been moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. Yes, Honorable Minister for Education.
Mr. Speaker, ordinarily I noted the guidance from the majority leader, but I'm commenting principally for three reasons, so that our new members of parliament can learn through your guide what is it that is called subsidiary legislation, or what is it that is called a regulation. And Chairman, to thank the chair of the committee, at least for being proactive in reporting back to this House. Because, Mr. Speaker, in the past, we've had instances where regulations are late. The report is not even provided for the House, at least to have a bite and make consequential guidance. And, Mr. Speaker, as noted by the chair of the committee, one of the principal responsibilities of the Committee of Subsidiary Legislation, which has been satisfied in this instance, I need the Constitution, is whether the regulation is consistent with the provisions of the Parent Act, and whether the regulations and the Parent Act are respecting the tenets of the provisions of the 1992 Constitution. I've noted that they have provided for all that. And then, in particular, Mr. Speaker, the purpose of the regulation is carefully provided for under Regulations 1. And then for our learners, Article 11.7 of the Constitution, for those who have studied law, we describe it as the hierarchy of the laws in order of significance or importance, the Constitution, enactments, orders, rules, and regulations. But, Mr. Speaker, 11.7 says that any order, rule, or regulation made by a person or authority under a power conferred by this Constitution or any other law shall be laid before Parliament. It's been laid. published in the Gazette. So again, for our new members of parliament, normally when a bill is introduced, you go to the back page and see whether it's been gazetted or not. And it's for two important reasons. Yesterday, the leadership were debating it. It's whether a bill, even though this is a regulation, so there is a difference between a bill and a regulation, is whether a bill laid before Parliament satisfies the requirement of Article 106 of the Constitution, explanatory memorandum and other issues. We take it for granted. And yesterday, the leader tried to resolve it. But what is important for members of Parliament is that it shall not come into force or at the expiration of 21 sitting days after being so late, unless Parliament, by the expiration of the 21 days, annuls the order. So the only power we have here is that we can annul, but we can only annul with a vote of not less than 2/3. So that once it is late, Mr. Speaker, as you used to observe in your last life at the other side, you were one of the expertise in this area, is whether there can be correction to a regulation once it's laid before the House. And we've been guided by the reference you've always made to the Supreme Court ruling on the matter. So, Mr. Speaker, finally, on the content itself, Mr. Speaker, there are many companies in Ghana, even today, that are in distress, and I hope that colleagues will tolerate me. It's not to do politics. If you were a company in 2019 or 2021, and you went in to borrow at the exchange rate of $6 to $1, by 2023-24, the same $6 from $18 million became $36 million. Naturally, that company would be in distress. And that company is likely to be cited for liquidation or insolvency. Now, with this law, you are giving hope to many of those entities that know, undertake some restructuring and see whether you can. So that's why the performance of government has some significance on how the private sector and corporate entities survive and thrive. So if you took a loan in 2019 at $6, 18 million times $3 million, the same $3 million, because of exchange rate differentials, became $32 million. How is any company going to work and pay that? This provides an opportunity that no, it is not the doing of the company. It is not. Therefore, give the company an opportunity in order to be able to have life. With this comment, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Very well. At the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes.
We'll take the statement. We'll take the statement. The
yes.
Commemorative one on the World Drugs Day.
Very well. Honorable members, today marks an International Day against drug abuse and illicit trafficking. We have 4 statements on the subject matter, and I crave your indulgence to take the 4 statements together so that we can comment on it, since they are all on the same subject matter. Yes, Minority Chief.
Speaker, I have no objection to the taking of the statement. However, I wish to know the members in whose name the statement stands. Because, Speaker, ordinarily we should have been aware, maybe at conclave, and then we can get members to contribute meaningfully to these statements. This is coming as a surprise. I have no objection.
Well,
if I know the members,
I'll go over it. The one statement stands in the name of Godwin Animli Dogbaji Dorani. This statement was admitted on 23rd day of June 2025. We also have a statement standing in the name of Jerry Ahmed Shaib, Member of Parliament for Weja, Bawe constituency. His statement was admitted since 11th day of June 2025. Then we also have another statement in the name of Haruna Mohammed, admitted on 23rd day of June 2025. Then the last one, her name is not here. By Honorable Member for Binduri, Honorable Mahmoud. So, Honorable Chief Whip, these are the 4 statements before me. I will then proceed to give the floor.
Speaker, if you may, you may.
Yes.
It's your kind indulgence. If I may respectfully refer you to Order 93A, and with your leave, if I may read. The clerk shall make available to members copies of admitted statements. And Speaker, you had advised that we should all position ourselves to ensuring that we enforce the provision of the standing orders. We are clearly in breach. Members don't have copies. I'm not sure the clerks at table have copies.
Very well.
If it is your decision,
Yes, if you look at the statement, I admit the statement transmitted to the clerks. So I can hold brief for them.
Speaker, we should indulge to ensure that the provisions in the orders are enforced. Without adding more, I think we can proceed.
So, clerks, be making enough copies of the statement available for members. I will then proceed to give the floor to Haruna Mohammed.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to address this August House. Today, the 26th of June 2025, we join the global community in commemorating the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, or World Drug Day, designated by the United Nations General Assembly. In Ghana, this issue is particularly pressing as the alarming rise in substance abuse among our youth demands immediate and decisive action. Mr. Speaker, the global drug crisis affects millions, with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime reporting that nearly 200 million people use illicit drugs worldwide, including cannabis, cocaine, opioids, and synthetic substances. Less than 1/5 of those affected receive adequate treatment. In Ghana, the situation is dire. According to 2023 study by the Ghana Health Service and the Mental Health Authority, approximately 1.25 million Ghanaians grapple with drug-related issues, with marijuana, tramadol, codeine, and synthetic opioids being the most prevalent. A 2024 study by the Department of Children, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, revealed that 7% of adolescents aged between 10 and 7 reported lifetime alcohol use. With increasing experimentation with substances like tramadol, shockingly, the Mental Health Authority noted in 2023 that 3,765 cases of mental disorders were linked to alcohol and 5,554 to other psychoactive substances, predominantly affecting the 20 to 34 age group, with children as young as 10 to 14 presenting substance-related conditions. Mr. Speaker, a disturbing social media trend known as Unim Red, or Red 225, has emerged, linked to the abuse of an unlicensed combination of tapentadol and carisoprodol, known as Super Royal 225. This dangerous substance poses severe risk, including seizures, respiratory distress, and death. Video of youth, some in school uniforms, engaging in substance use have proliferated on social media, normalizing the perilous behavior and amplifying the crisis. Ghana's current rehabilitation infrastructure is woefully inadequate. Facilities like Pantine Hospital, Accra Psychiatric Hospital, and Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital are overstretched with limited capacity to meet the growing demand for counseling, detoxification, rehabilitation. Access to residential rehabilitation, particularly in Accra and other regions, remains severely constrained. Mr. Speaker, to address this public health crisis and align with the global call for action, I propose the following urgent measures. 1. Establishment of regional rehabilitation centers. The creation of well-funded, state-of-the-art rehabilitation centers in every region, staffed with trained professionals to provide comprehensive care, including detoxification, counseling, and reintegration programs. 2. Strengthen public awareness campaign. Intensify nationwide campaigns through traditional media, community outreach, and social media to educate the public on the dangers of substance abuse. Number 3, regulation and monitoring of harmful substances and trends. Collaborate with the Narcotics Control Commission, Food and Drugs Authority, and cybersecurity agencies to regulate the sale of prescription of drugs like tramadol and monitor social media platforms to curb the spread of harmful trends. And the final one is investment in data-driven policies. Leverage research and data collection, as emphasized by this year's team, to inform targeted interventions, drawing inspiration from global successes like Portugal's model of prioritizing treatment over punishment. Mr. Speaker, the escalating rate of drug abuse among Ghanaian youth threatens the future of our nation. On this International Drug Day, let us reaffirm our commitment to people-centered approach that prioritizes prevention, rehabilitation, and elimination of stigma. The time to act is now. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to address this critical issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I will then give the floor to Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib, Esquire.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise today to draw the attention of this august House to a pressing national issue. Mr. Speaker, the alarming surge in drug abuse among Ghana's youth, with particular emphasis on the widespread misuse of tramadol 225 mg, commonly referred to in the street vernacular as red. Mr. Speaker, this drug, originally intended for critical and clinical pain relief, has now taken hold of entire communities, particularly in Accra and Kumasi. In the ghettos, under the Circle overpass, around riversides, and the infamous enclave of Columbia in Kofrom, Kumasi. Red has become the new street king. It is devastating to witness vibrant young Ghanaians lose their futures to addiction. Mr. Speaker, red is not just a tablet. It has become a trap, one dragging down the energy, creativity, and promise of our youth. Mr. Speaker, what makes this situation even more troubling is that many of those affected express a genuine desire to seek help and recover. However, they face significant barriers in accessing treatment. The high cost of rehabilitation services remains a substantial obstacle, with fees reportedly reaching as high as 3,000, amounts far beyond the means of most affected youth, many of whom are unemployed, school dropouts, orphans, engaged in hand-to-mouth activities. Mr. Speaker, I wish to acknowledge the commendable efforts of Mr. Godwin Asidiba, a broadcast journalist, for his documentary on drug abuse in Ghana, and Mr. Kwame Bequim, my constituency youth organizer, for his Wunim Red campaign. I also wish to acknowledge Honorable Suhum Protozia for his contribution on this matter, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this has helped shed light on the crisis. These initiatives have been very instrumental in raising public awareness and fostering critical discourse on drug abuse among the youth. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that the battle against drug abuse cannot be won by the government alone. I therefore make a clarion call to, first, the Ministry of Health to expand access to affordable community-based rehabilitation services and intensify street campaigns and public education programs on drug abuse prevention and treatment. Existing facilities such as the Accra Psychiatric Hospital and Pantine Psychiatric Hospital should be expanded and should be made more youth-friendly and easily accessible. Mr. Speaker, the Food and Drugs Authority should also strengthen their regulatory frameworks governing the importation, distribution, and retail of tramadol and other controlled substances, with improved enforcement mechanisms. I commend the Chief Executive Officer of the authority for